Hello friends, I am Tejpal Sheth, and in this video I am going to share with you the important topics where the CS executive students for a company law paper need to focus. Let me note down here on a screen the important topics, right? The first and the foremost is a lifting of a corporate wealth. Many students omit this point because it is a little complicated and technical. My suggestion is that do not omit this question. Lifting of a corporate wealth is very important. The point number 2 is the definition of the promoter and the role and the duties of the promoter. Point number 3 is process of incorporation of the various company and its conversion. Remember, as you are a student of a company secretary, you are supposed to have knowledge and the exact idea of the procedure to be followed for a conversion of various companies. Point number 4 is various doctrine, like the doctrine of ultra-virus, doctrine of indoor management, doctrine of constructive notice, and doctrine of alter ego. In my career, and according to my observation, the students omit this doctrine, or if they do the doctrine, they are confused with it. You should not confuse with it, and you should try to remember with the landmark judgment. Because most of the time, the practical question, if you will find based upon this doctrine, you will find it from the landmark judgment. So at that point of a time, you will find yourself comfortable in writing the answer if you have gone through this kind of a landmark judgment. Number 5, with regard to the alteration, capital, with regard to the alteration of capital. Alteration of a capital include capital reduction, diminution of a capital, and the process. Next is rules with regard to the allotment of the shares or securities. Right. As compared to the earlier act, the rules with regard to the allotment are drastically changed, and therefore one has to be careful, right? Number 7 is with regard to the buyback, right? Number 8 is with regard to the right shares. Number 9 is with regard to the prospectus. Remember, in my opinion, the prospectus will be a very crucial in the next examination. Do everything what comes under the chapter of prospectus, definition of the prospectus, shell prospectus, red herring prospectus, drafting rule for the purpose of prospectus, when the prospectus are required to be refused, registered, and what are the consequences for the purpose of a misstatement of the prospectus, civil, criminal, and the class action, right? Number 10, after the prospectus is the procedure for a transfer and transmission of shares, and the procedure with regard to the appeal. Remember, the transfer and transmission only for the purpose of physical shares, not for a demat here, right? Chapter number 11 is with regard to the general meeting. provision with regard to the AGM, provision with regard to the EGM, provision with regard to the notice, and provision with regard to the quorum will be the very crucial. Right? Number 12 is with regard to the board meeting, where you are required to consider the frequency of a board meeting, notice of a board meeting, and passing of a resolution by circulation. These 3 points are very important for a board meeting. In addition, one cannot forget and omit the board meeting through video conference, right? What are the requirements for holding the board meeting through the video conference? Cannot be avoided in any circumstances. No doubt in a module or a textbook it has been given in a lengthy manner with a technical language, but if you can remember the point, I am sure that you can write down the answer. Point number 14 is the power of the board of directors. That includes section number 179, 180, 181, 182, 183, right? All the powers of the board of directors and the classification are more important, right? Then, if we talk about the director, the entire chapter of a director is important, but more important is the independent director, small shareholder director, appointment of a director by the proportional representation, right? Resignation of a director, loan to the director, and disqualification of directors. These 5 topics or 6 topics you can not omit from the directors chapters. Number 16 is from key managerial personnel and remuneration. You cannot omit the schedule 5, 17, that is on related party transaction, you cannot omit section 184 and section 188. Both are very much important, and I am sure that you will get a one question at least from the point number 17. Number 18 is on operation mismanagement. Right? You cannot omit here what is a operation, what is a mismanagement, the procedure for making an appeal to the authority, etc. 19 is the winding up, in which the mode of winding up, compulsory winding up, overriding preferential payment, statement of a solvency. These are very important. Last, you cannot omit the penalty provision, right? Penalty provision with regard to the, especially with regard to the fraud, right? These are important topics under the company law. Best of luck. Thank you.